flag. One of the main issues that we have in this current day and age is this obsession of getting angry over the most pointless shit, but yet failing to really care about the things that actually matter. Surprise! I'm English, and that is the English flag. Next to an Argentinian flag that I'm sure would even annoy some people if you are a bit older. Makes it even worse that there's a goddamn Germany flag right there as well. The English flag has been spoken about in the last couple of days, and the issue is that deep rooted in all of this, the actual problem, or the perceived problem, is nothing to do with the flag at all. If Nike never, ever did a tweet, this tweet right here, saying it's a playful update to unite and inspire, no one would have ever noticed or even cared. The vast majority would have never even known that existed on the back of the shirt. And I'll tell you why they would have never noticed. Because no one would have ever actually paid the £125 it cost to buy the thing. So most people would have just gone their normal everyday life without ever knowing that was even there. That, for me, is the real tragic element. You're charging me £125 for an authentic version of a shirt. I want uproar against that. They're charging £60 for shorts. And I think I speak on behalf of a good chunk of people. Who cares? The issue is not to do with the flag being a bit purple, because it's just a bit purple. In the same way that when you look at your Hovis in your local Tesco or Asda, the Hovis is green on the Union Jack. The Union Jack has been desecrated. Ban all bread. And anyone in the political space that's making a claim about this being disgusting is just trying to win a vote. I'm English. I'm proud to be English. Even though I now live overseas and I now live in a foreign country, I still feel like I kind of in some weird way represent my people. In a similar way to how I see football being quite tribalistic, of me being a Burnley fan, when I go and travel the country, home and away, whatever, I represent the people of Burnley. If I'm a good person and they see me being a Burnley fan, they're going to think, alright, Burnley people, they're pretty cool. If I'm an English person, now living in Poland, I go to Budapest, I go to Vienna, and they see some English people that's respectful and kind, they think English people are quite cool. I'm proud to represent that, because that's who I am deep down. You should be proud of wherever you are in the world. However, that shouldn't be you. I have no choice of where I'm from. However, I do understand that my kind of, therefore, responsibility is to represent that country. There are actually bad things and things to be annoyed about England. Many things such as the NHS is a complete mess. The inflation of your bills and your energy costs through the roof. The inflation of your weekly shop, how much it costs just to get food. And for many people, I've been there, where you have a choice of, am I going to eat food this week or am I going to clean myself? This has got nothing to do with the flag. Because if it was to do with the flag, then so many things would have been a problem prior to this. Such as the English shirts. Literally in the past, 2010 literally had multicoloured St. George crosses on the kit. What about the Olympics? The Team GB of the Union Jack. That was blue. That was messed around with. You're messing with a flag, as what Rishi Sunak says. Who I think he got much more problems with the country other than the flag on the back of a shirt that no one would have noticed or seen anyway. The issue is they think that the flag represents wokeness and the far left, and that wokeness has entered into the country, and they are now tampering, desecrating on the flag to really push their far left ideology of wokeness, because they think the colours of purple, which by the way is the colour of the away kit, means a bisexual flag. I mean, to be fair, they do have a fair point. I mean, all I've heard from the bisexual community is to have their flag incorporated in the St. George's Cross. That's been a very common thing. So I'm happy that Nike has finally fell victim to their cries and demands. But if your anger is nothing to do with wokeness and it's simply to do with you can't mess with the flag, how about Scotland, which their kit, as we speak, for the Euros, their away shirt, their Scotland flag has been tampered back. Look, it's no longer the colour of Scotland, it's now purple. How many Scottish people have you seen angry about this? None, because they don't care. How about Brazil, with one of their most recent away shirts having their flag tampered with, cutting out most of it and just leaving it a bit green. Well, you're tampering with the flag. How dare you destroy and desecrate on a country? How many Brazilians cared about this detail? None, because most probably never noticed it was even there in the first place. To reiterate how stupid all of this isn't the first time by a long shot that this has happened where the cross has been edited in some way. For example, this was a goalkeeper kit back in 2011. The entire kit is an altered version of the St. George's cross. That's the pattern of it. The entire shirt is a St. George's cross that's been messed around with. Whereas the Outrage, no one cared. You may say, oh, well, it doesn't mean anything. It's got nothing to do with walkie lefties. But you never know. Maybe the entire time it was actually a nod to the abrosexual flag. Maybe it was. The Euro 2012 goalkeeper shirt also was edited, and it was indeed purple. Maybe the entire time back then they were also nodding to the bisexual community, kind of planting the seeds, a decade prior, so to say. And it's not even the goalkeeper shirts, of course, since 2011. Here is the flag in not just one, but 4 different colours, one of them being red, to be fair, of the flag now showing a multitude of colours. It's got green on there, it's got blue. Some may say that could be a nod to the LGBT community. There's some colours on a flag. Maybe it was that the entire time. You didn't care, did you? Because people wasn't weird back then. So again, the idea that you cannot tamper with a flag is ridiculous because it's been done on our shirts of the England shirt many times, and it's also been done on many shirts of other nations many times, Scotland being a pretty predominant one of them, and Scottish people have not cared at least once. So the idea that you can't tamper with the pride and the traditions and the cultures of the country is a far stretch. And for me personally, there's actually things to be annoyed about in the UK, so picking this hill to die on makes it all look a bit silly. This idea of, they are only doing this to England because we are weak and we are ashamed to be English. This all comes down to their own deep-rooted fears and their anger at the world that they can no longer be proud to be English. The idea of the English flag in the last couple of years, near 2 decades or so, has been unfortunately clouded and associated with nationalistic groups in the UK, predominantly being the EDL. However, that doesn't represent all English people. I have an English flag there behind me. I proudly have it for every single Euros or World Cup. I'm not part of the EDL. However, my Buzz Cut may say a different story. I wasn't going to do a video about this at all, mainly because by doing a video on it, it kind of adds more fuel to the fire. It kind of gives it more of a place. It gives it more weight than what it ever deserves. However, the second that you got prime ministers coming out and talking about it in the way they are, saying that you can't mess with the flag, is I feel like I'm in an episode of South Park here. They literally did it a couple of years ago. Your bread that you buy tampers with the Union Jack. Other countries have their flags edited on their national shirts. This isn't just an England thing. And the fact that the Prime Minister and all these politicians and all these newspapers are caring about it is truly bonkers. And I am, of course, hypocritical in this because I'm doing a video on it. But Christ, in my own personal opinion, I think people have life way too easy. That we are simply having the time and the care to talk about the flag of a 4 centimeter detail on the back of a shirt and thinking that this is destroying the country inside out. People seriously need to get their priorities in order here. If you're so proud about your nationality as an Englishman, just like myself, and you're so angry with any tampering the flag whatsoever, but yet at the same time litter on the streets, so when you see litter on the streets, which is fucking everywhere by the way, because it's dirty as hell, full of garbage, right? Then you walk past that. Is there not an issue there? You're proud of your area? Well, keep that going. If you're proud of your area, be proud of the fact that your streets are clean, because most of it isn't. Be proud of the fact that most centres of most towns or cities in England are either all closed down and is just full of bookies, charity shops, bookies, charity shops, Greggs, charity shop, JD, bookies, bank, JD, Greggs. Use your outrage towards your council. Use that to make a change in your local area and be proud of where you're from, other than a 4 centimeter detail that you would have never noticed if it was never tweeted out by Nike in the first place. And I cannot wait for something more pointless to be talked about next week, other than people using that outrage and using that focus to actually try to improve their lives. England at this current moment has 20% of the population under the poverty line. House prices keep rising to an astronomical level, huge increases of homelessness year on year, and 15% of the children in England are malnourished. Government and the media are focusing on a few details of a flag which has been done prior multiple times and no one cared. By all means, I know this would get people angry at me about not caring about a piece of detail on a shirt that actually never was on the shirt for the last decade. The St. George's Cross has not been on an England shirt for a decade now, and no one cared that it was removed. So it now being added with a little detail shouldn't then make it desecrated. And if you care that deeply, then put that into your own life, and maybe improve your local area if you care so deeply about England. Because if you hate the idea of the St. George's Cross being desecrated and tampered with, then I hope you never find out about horse cross buns. But hey, maybe by saying that, I'm no longer English, because I therefore apparently now hate my country if you don't get outraged by a tiny piece of detail that's been done since the dawn of time. See you next time.